Hi guys, and welcome back to the Small Space Big Build project. I'm James Mason. In this video, you're going to see the wall frames being cut and stood, and you're also going to see our roof going on. First of all, I'll run you through some of the tips that I've used for marking out the wall frames, and then I'll go about standing them, and then after that, you'll see a time-lapse video of everything sort of taking shape and going together. Alright guys, I hope you enjoy the video. When hand cutting wall frames, it's important that all your studs are exactly the same length. So what I've set up here is a little template on the saw bench. Just made it out of a plank, put a stopper at one end so that we ensure that every stud that we cut is always going to be exactly the same length all the way through. So I've got mine set up to cut a 25/40, which is going to be the stud length minus the bottom plate and the top plate. It's important to ensure that both ends of the stud are actually square, so that's why I cut this end first and then I slide it through to the block, and then we get the exact same size. So what that allows us to do is to cut 20 or 30 studs at once without having to get the tape out and remeasure it each time. So in doing any wall frames by hand, it's essential that you get the set out right. So what I always like to start to do with is getting the top and bottom plates laid out around the perimeter of the room. You get them set out square, measure the overall length, cut the plates into position, and then what we do is we come back through and we mark out where all the studs are and where any particular openings are. So in this one here, we mark out, we've got an 820 door, so we're going to have an 880 opening just to allow a little bit for the jam, the clearance and everything like that. Once I make the mark of where the studs are, I transfer that down to the plate below, and I'll do that all the way around the perimeter of these walls, and that way we can spread them out, put the studs in between, nail them together, and then the frame's basically ready to stand. Our stud spacings on these ones are at 450 centres. Sometimes you can have them at 600 centres, it just depends on what load it's taking. So I'll go around, I'm going to mark out all the 450s. It's important to get all your openings in the correct position first, so your door openings, get your window openings. There's certain dimensions that you may need to take off to put window heads in. So get all that set out done first, then come back through and mark out all your studs. There's also corner studs. You need to make sure you trim out enough in the corners so that your gyprock sheeting's got something to nail to. I'll show you how to do that now. So down here where we've got an internal corner, this is where you've got to trim out to make sure that the plasterboard has got something to nail to on both ends. By doing that, you basically mark the corners, put the stud this side of the corner, put the stud that side of the corner. So what we're going to end up with is a stud here, a stud here, and another stud here. And what that allows us to do, this stud here, these two will be nailed together, which will actually hold the corner in position. And then this one here is purely just for trimming. So by the time you come back, the thickness of your stud, you'll probably put a little block in here to space it out, and that'll allow, when the gyprock comes through here, something to nail that end on. Just pick up the corner. So where both corners have got fixing. got left to do now is just chuck a few roof battens up there, put the speed bracing on, and that's our roof and wall framing complete. We're ready to go on with the roof sheeting after that.